What's going on, YouTube Metal Complex here, and today I've got an awesome knife to show you. This is the Massdrop Knives Orca. It was designed by Eric Ox, custom knife maker, and then it was actually made by Riot Knives. If you take, just a quick glance at this will tell you, I mean, this kind of screams Riot, so no surprise there, but really cool, very interesting. A lot to say about it. I want to go ahead and do some size comparisons here real quick. Let's do the Ontario Rat Model 1. Rat 1 coming in at 8.6 inches overall. Let's do the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. PM2 coming in at 8.3 inches overall. Let's do the Benchmade Griptilian. Benchmade Griptilian coming in at 8 inches overall. How about the Laconico Keen from Massdrop? This is the one that I unboxed the other day and have been carrying and enjoying. Right in the same neighborhood, looks to be about 8 inches overall. And how about the Spyderco Delica coming in at 7 inches overall? I guess we're kind of moving backwards here. Let's do some measurements on this knife so we know exactly how large this thing is overall. Length on this guy, yeah, about 8 inches. Blade length looking to be about 3.5 inches and probably about 3.3, yeah, it's over 3.25, so about 3.3 inches on the cutting edge there. Let's go ahead and weigh this knife. Give you a quick demo of the action. Oh, the action on this thing is amazing. We'll talk about that. Okay. Total weight on this guy coming in at 4.44. Weight again on the other side here. 4.41. So just shy of 4.5 ounces, which is, for me, it's at a weight that I absolutely could justify carrying. Some of you use that universal standard of 4 ounces being the absolute maximum that you should carry for EDC. I do not subscribe to that thought process, so 4.4 ounces does not bother me at all. This is a beautiful knife. Lot of really good things to say about it. I want to say first off, I cannot find the original price of this knife anywhere. What I do know is that they come in lots of different colors. The standard form being G10, and then you can pay $120 to upgrade it to what is this titanium or anodized titanium hardware with marbled carbon fiber and Damascus. So it's $120 up from probably $150, $175, making this particular version, I'm going to guess, somewhere around $275. I do not know that for sure. If you know for sure, let everybody know in the comments section. I have no idea. I'm going to continue on with this video assuming this knife is right around $275, but I could be completely wrong. So just wanted to disclose that there. Let's go ahead and do the paper cut test. Now, I know some of you, which by the way, this thing already has a slice out of it, because honestly, I did this video and the entire orientation was wrong. It did it vertically, so I'm having to redo it. So I'm basically redoing this, but a lot of you have voiced your concerns and opinions on the paper cut test and that it doesn't really show anything. And you guys are being really nice. You're being respectful. You know, you're basically saying, hey, I like your videos. And some of you, there's just been a few people saying the paper cut test doesn't really tell me anything. You're right, it doesn't really tell you anything. It's really just designed to give an example of the edge right out of the box. And really, truthfully, the reason I do it is to satisfy my own curiosity. I like to get it on camera and make it organic. Not going to be accomplished this time, obviously, because you're going to see the second time that I've cut with it. But I know some people like to know. Some people are like me and they really enjoy the feeling of a really slicey knife like the PM2 going through paper. And I enjoy that, and I like to know where these other knives are at when compared with the PM2, given that it is kind of a universal standard of sliciness. So I'm fully aware it doesn't really tell you much, but I'm going to go ahead and keep doing it anyway. I hope that really doesn't bother anybody. Anyways, take a pass with the PM2. Of course, PM2, extremely slicey. And go ahead with the Orca, also extremely slicey. No issues there whatsoever. Both of these knives are very slicey. I would say the Orca feels about 90% the sliciness of the PM2. So very impressive edge, very well sharpened, and that is generally to be expected with Riot knives. I've kind of, just the ones that I've handled, I've come to expect that everything, including the edge, is very well done. Okay, moving on into anatomy of the blade and overall knife here. What we've got is a satin finished, and I believe these are hand finished satin flats, or is the case with a lot of Riot knives. Satin finished harpoon style drop point blade, which honestly is amongst my favorite of all blade shapes that I've ever seen. And it's, I don't know if it adds any real utility with, how easy it is to puncture things, but truthfully, I just like it because it gives you a place to rest your thumb when you're holding it in this position. So I really, really like that. Very beautiful, very, very well done, very symmetrical, no flaws there with the blade whatsoever. And of course, no nicks or rolls in the edge coming from the factory. By the way, guys, this knife was provided directly by Massdrop, so thank you very much, Massdrop, for doing that. As always, I will try not to let that affect my review, but this knife is heading off to the next person that's part of the pass around group that I'm a part of, so it's not like I'm keeping it or anything like that, so it shouldn't be too hard to be unbiased. Moving down here, you can see we have anodized, I assume, titanium thumb studs that have been, like I said, anodized blue. You can see there the steel RWL-34. For those of you who are unfamiliar with RWL-34 steel, it's named after a famous knife maker, Robert Lovelace. I don't know what his middle name is, and somebody can probably clarify in the comments section. Very famous knife maker. This steel is actually Damasteel's powder steel. Now, this is not Damasteel. Keep in mind the company is called Damasteel, and they make Damasteel. The way that they make Damasteel is they use this RWL-34, which is a powdered steel, and then they combine it with, I think it's PMC-27, a nickel-based steel, which I think is also a powder alloy, or I mean, it's nickel-based. I don't know how you say that. They combine those two, and that's what creates Damasteel. That very same steel was on the Riot Jack that I did a review of. Damasteel is different than Damascus in that it is essentially a powder form, and what it creates is a working version of Damascus. That's not to say that Damascus can't be used, but Damasteel is, by most people's opinion, a superior form of Damascus. The end result, the composition is very similar to CPM 154, which RWL-34 is also extremely similar to CPM 154, and CPM is Crucible's powder version of 154CM. Those of you familiar with that steel know that it is one of the most well-rounded steels and most suitable EDC steels around. Good edge retention, good toughness, good corrosion resistance, good abrasion resistance, really, really good all the way around. So basically what I'm saying, that's a very long-winded way of saying this is an excellent steel for EDC. And honestly, I kind of appreciate that it's there because I don't see a lot of RWL-34. I almost called it ATS-34, which is Hitachi's 154CM. Anyways, RWL-34 is an excellent choice for this steel. It's refreshing to see, just because we don't see it often, and I think that's really cool. Moving down to the scales, what we have here is marbled carbon fiber. We've got smooth and then a faux bolster. The bolster itself, or the faux bolster, is actually got a hammered finish, but that is still carbon fiber. You can see there that's just a line carved into this to separate the smooth and the hammer finish. You've got a beautiful titanium anodized pivot there. It's blue, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick this up, but that pivot collar is Damascus. You can just barely see the extra lines in there. Very, very beautiful. The camera will not do this justice. It looks way better in person. You've got two more titanium anodized body screws there holding the scales onto the blue titanium liners. Looks really, really nice. You've got a carbon fiber backspacer here that's been textured, and there's little dots there just as an added touch, keeping with the busy nature of the knife. Flipping the knife over, it's much of the same, except you have this amazing Damascus pocket clip that's both blue and gold. Again, the camera will not do this justice. I cannot explain to you how superior this looks in person versus what the camera is showing. It is so much more vibrant in person. Really, really cool. You've got another, of course, blue anodized pivot with the Damascus pivot collar around there. So really, really nice. I will say this. Fit and finish all the way around is absolutely excellent. We've got early, solid lockup, no blade play up, down, left, and right. Very, very smooth, running on bearings. The knife is perfectly centered. All the hardware is lined up perfectly. Everything is very beautiful. No issues with fit and finish. The one problem I have with this is in the carbon fiber. If you take a look here, we've got some voids. Void, 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 all the way back there. That on this side, and we've got just a little bit also on this side. All that is an aesthetic blemish that is just unsightly. It doesn't change anything functionally. I don't know, maybe it can trap moisture. I have no idea. Now, here's my problem with it. I don't want to see that on a $275 knife. I don't want to see it on a $200 knife. I don't want to see it on a $100 knife. I don't know that I've seen a lot of marbled carbon fiber knives at $100. But my point is that on marbled carbon fiber, having owned a knife from Riot in marbled carbon fiber, and it didn't have any voids, that's my bar. I don't want to see that. Now, I know that my knife was, I want to say it was like a $675 knife. I don't want to see that, you know. I don't know if it's typical of marbled carbon fiber to have voids. I've read that the process in making it, you know, results in a higher possibility of voids, but I still just don't want to see that. It's unsightly on this. I kind of have a problem with that. I have to assume anybody who's willing to pay the $275-ish that I assume this cost brand new is also going to have an issue with that. Once I saw it, I know that it's there. It just bothered me every single time I picked this up. And in contrast with the rest of the knife being almost completely flawless. In fact, truthfully, I can't find another flaw in the entire knife. It's such a bummer. So I have a problem with that. But that's really the only thing visually I have a problem with. Moving on to the action. Holy moly. detent is tuned perfectly. We have a nearly free-falling action. No issues there whatsoever. You can see there. Sorry, I had to kick it back over the detent ball. You can see there, this is almost perfectly free-falling. It just needs ever so slightly, a little tiny bit of help. But this knife is going to flip, and it is going to flip reliably. The detent is solid. Lockup is solid. Everything is just perfect. Ergonomically, this knife, you know, if you're holding it in the hammer grip, you know, however you're holding it, there are no sharp edges. The pocket clip does not create a hot spot. It is a fantastic design ergonomically. I don't have an issue with it. It doesn't create... It's a little thicker than... It's about the same thickness this way as the Benchmade Griptilian. You can see there it's a little bit thicker, but it's about the same footprint. And you're only going to have about that much of the knife sticking up out of your pocket. You can see there where the pocket clip clips. So really it's pretty easy to carry at 4.5 ounces. It's not super duper heavy. It's going to flip reliably. You know, it's very, very pretty, but as far as a functional cutting tool goes, yeah, this knife has everything that you would need there. If I was going to change anything, just because I'm biased towards knives with forward choils, I would add a choil to this. I think it would add another element of control, considering you've got a harpoon notch up here. I'd really like to put my finger right there. But it doesn't, and that's not really that big of a deal. Some of you really prefer the excess blade over a forward choil, so that's a personal nitpick. I would also like to see just a little bit of jimping back here, but you don't really need it, given that that raise kind of locks your finger in. So again, another nitpick. Obviously, I'd like to see it without voids, but other than that, I don't really have an issue with anything else. You know, I think it would have been nice to have you know, maybe a multi-directional or multi-positionable pocket clip. Given the fact that this is a right-handed liner lock, you're kind of either way. I mean, even left-handed, you could manipulate it a little bit. Actually, it's not that bad manipulating it with the left hand, but you really only have one position for the pocket clip, and that's right hand tip up. So lefties or fans of tip down, sorry, you're going to be out of luck on this one. That's just the way that it is. Truthfully, though, it's a really, really great knife. It's not going to go on my list of most recommended knives that I've ever handled because, number one, I don't know exactly how much it costs. If it's $275, I think that's a reasonable price, considering I know this is made in China, but considering you're getting marbled carbon fiber, Damascus, anodized titanium hardware, a really well-finished RWL 34 blade, and some amazing, like some of the best action that I've felt coming out of Riot. You know, I think that price would be justified, but I have no idea exactly what it costs, so I can't specifically say that it's a good deal. So that, combined with the fact that it's got the voids, for those two reasons, I can't recommend it. But, you know, keep in mind, if you're willing to pay whatever the secondary market is demanding for this knife, be it the G10 version, which is $120 less brand new than this. That's all I know about it, is that if you go with the marbled carbon fiber and the Damascus and the anodized hardware, you're going to pay $120 more than whatever this knife costs in its base form. If you're willing to pay whatever the secondary market is asking for the G10 version or this marble carbon fiber version, and you can overlook some of the stuff that I was talking about, really that only applies to the carbon fiber version, then yeah, go for it. You're going to be super happy with this thing. It is stunning in person. It functions flawlessly. It's made incredibly well. At this point, I think everybody knows Riot's fit and finish is legendary, and they pretty much always have incredible action. So this is really cool. Another one really knocked out of the park by Massdrop, and I just, given my experience with the Keen, which is right over here off camera, I just kind of expect these Massdrop knives to do really, really well. Or maybe I'm only handling ones that do really well, but I have a newfound love and extreme fascination with Massdrop knives, so expect to see a lot of them on this channel. Anyways, guys, that's going to be pretty much it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So please check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, then please subscribe to my channel because there is definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.